Hey everybody, welcome back to JT Channel, and if you watched yesterday's video, you know that while I am doing a bit of a slowdown on the wrestling content, we're going to go back to just doing picks, predictions, reviews, and big news. I said there was one video I wanted to get out before we got to that point, and that is this one, and basically it's just some, well, I'm going to call them hot takes, right? Just some things that I think should happen in the near future or in WWE in general here in 2026. So that's pretty much the gist of the video. We're going to jump right into it. We got five things I want to talk about. And while two of them aren't hot takes, one of them is especially not a hot take. It's a lukewarm take. I think everyone would agree with me. There are a few that I think are going to be pretty hot. And I think I've saved the best one for last. I think that the general consensus is going to be against me on the last one. But the first one, as you can see, Bron Breakker here to my left. I want to talk about Bron Breakker and the Royal Rumble. Oh, and there will be timestamps in case I say something you're like, did he really just say that? You can go back and relive what I said. But I actually think that after this past Monday on Raw, that Bron Breakker should not officially compete in the 2026 Royal Rumble. I had this thought after he was suspended, and I was thinking about, okay, he'll be suspended for a while, he'll come back, he'll be out of his mind. He's already out of his mind. This is from this past Monday on Raw where he tried to attack Adam Pearce. Don't do that. But I started to think about it, and I'm like, what should he do? Should he be in the Rumble? And if he is, what's he going to do in the Rumble? Should he eliminate somebody? Should he eliminate half the field? I don't think he should be in the Rumble unless he's going to win it, and I don't think he is going to win it. I think that online everyone's saying that Roman Reigns is going to win it. Fine, whatever, I don't care. We'll talk about that later. Well, not in this video anyhow. But what I think should happen, and I know it's silly, we'll talk about the logic in a minute, but I think about halfway through the Rumble, maybe within the first 10 people even, at some point during the Rumble, Bron Breakker should still be in storyline suspended, because he is as of right now. And he should just run out there and just beat people up. Someone should get eliminated. Someone like Dragon Lee, Penta, Rey Mysterio, whatever. I don't know why I specifically said them. They're people feuding. Hi. They're people feuding with the... Sorry, anyway, I'm saying they're the people feuding with the Vision. So that makes sense to me. But Bron Breakker should just run out there, spear somebody the way he did on Raw. They're doing that running spear that just got eliminated from the Rumble. He should get in the ring. He should spear everybody. Maybe even throw a few people out. But he should not be in the Rumble. And again, I know that sounds crazy. Why wouldn't you put Bron Breakker in the Rumble? But the character he's playing right now, him being suspended, I think this would come off better. Especially with the whole Paul Heyman thing. That's why I just did this screenshot behind me. Because Paul Heyman's right there, and he told Adam Pearce that he made the biggest mistake of his career because he touched Bron Breakker first. So maybe even have Adam Pearce get speared during the Rumble as well, because I assume if they're going to run that angle, Bron would run out there, and then Adam Pearce and his goons would come out to stop him. So you'd have Bron spear Adam Pearce as well, and it being in Saudi Arabia, I don't know if Bron being arrested would be a good idea. Maybe just have like a ton of security and referees drag Bron out of there, or have Bron run away, have him spear Adam Pearce, and then be like, ooh, and then take off, while Paul Heyman just stands there like, Paul Heyman's so good at shocked, oh my gosh face. But yeah, I know that as far as hot takes go, that one's kind of weird. But it entered my head, especially after watching other people talk about the Bron Breakker suspension. They were like, I think that a lot of people think that Bron's going to come back even crazier. Like he's just going to keep losing his mind. So I think this would be a good way to utilize him at the Rumble. Because if you're suspending him, why would you allow him back in your Royal Rumble match? Like if I was Adam Pearce, storyline-wise, why would I reinstate a guy that put his hands on me, that's clearly off his rocker, that doesn't listen to anybody? So you wouldn't. That kind of ties into the story, and that's how Bron would do that. Now, the logic thing that made me laugh as soon as I had this idea was that would mean that Bron Breakker is going to get on a plane, fly to Saudi Arabia, wait, and then run in just to disrupt the Royal Rumble. It's really funny, but we've seen it before. We've seen wrestlers, was it LA Knight that flew to Saudi Arabia just to beat somebody up or whatever? Really funny stuff. Great. It doesn't matter, in WWE. People do it all the time. So that's my first hot take. Bron Breakker should not officially participate in the Rumble, but he should show up and just absolutely disrupt it. I think it'd be fun to watch. My second hot take is part hot take and part not so much, because after looking online at what a lot of people are saying, a lot of people seem to want Liv Morgan to win the Royal Rumble. Do I think she's going to? I don't know yet. But to kind of ruin my picks and predictions for the Royal Rumble, I'm sorry, I do want her to win the Royal Rumble. But the only reason I want her to win the Royal Rumble is because I want Raquel Rodriguez to become the new Women's World Champion. Now, this is an idea put out there on social media just the other day. I know I don't have my socials on my YouTube channel. I'm getting there. But what I think should happen is that at the Royal Rumble, Stephanie Vaquer should defend the Women's World title. Yes, I know she's legitimately injured, but in story, she's the kind of babyface that's like, I don't care if I'm injured, I can beat you anyway. She should face Raquel Rodriguez. The match should go less than 10 minutes. Raquel should become the new Women's World Champion, and then Liv should win the Royal Rumble. Now, I don't really care what order that happens in. In my head, Raquel wins the title, and then Liv wins the Rumble. And then, if you're an old school wrestling fan, and by old school I mean mid-2000s, we ape everything we did with Batista in 2005. Now, I will try to run through this as quickly as possible. This isn't a retro review, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, we're getting there. But back in 2005, Batista was part of Evolution with Triple H and Ric Flair. He won the Royal Rumble while Triple H was world champion. He teased for a while that he was going to go to SmackDown, although there were little hints that he was getting sick of Triple H. But basically, he tricked Triple H, the crowd kind of knew better, into thinking he was going to go to SmackDown. And then on Raw, he had to choose between staying on Raw and going after Triple H, or going to SmackDown and going after the SmackDown World title. And it was great. All these skits, all these backstage segments. Then on the episode of Raw, he had 2 contracts in his hand. He threw down the Raw one. He gave them the thumbs up. Turned it into the thumbs down. Absolutely kills Ric Flair and Triple H. Go watch it. He just murders both of them for signing the Raw contract and telling Triple H, I'm coming for you. Great, great stuff. I think we can do the same thing with Liv, only not as intense. Obviously, Liv Morgan is not Dave Batista. But it's been long enough. It's been 21 years since that happened, and I don't remember it happening again since. I know the Festival of Friendship happened, but that was a different beast. You could have Liv win the Rumble. You could have her tease that she can go to SmackDown so that the Judgment Day can hold all the gold, and then you have her turn on Raquel. You have Dominic turn on the Judgment Day as well. We've been teasing it long enough. They scamper off. Maybe we do Dominic versus like JD McDonough or even Finn Balor. We're going to talk about Finn Balor again in this video. But you can do something with Dom. But my big thing is you do Liv versus Raquel at WrestleMania. I think, again, after everything that's been happening on Raw recently, that is the direction that WWE could go, and it'd be really good. Liv and Raquel have such good chemistry as friends. I really feel like as enemies, they would be even better. Everyone's behind Liv right now. The Raquel push, last week I complained about it. You can go watch my Raw review. I was like, oh, I don't know why they're going back to the well with Raquel. And that rhymes, so you know I must be onto something. But after she attacked Stephanie again and cracked the Women's World title, she really did, go look it up. I really want to see her be Women's World Champion. Another thing I want to talk about, and we'll talk about this again in the video, is how much I love Raquel Rodriguez. I've talked about it before, but I don't think I've really honed in on it. Sometimes a wrestler shows up in WWE and NXT and TNA, AEW, name the company, and the first time you see him, you go, that's my guy, that's my gal. I'm going to follow this person all the way to hell and back. For me, people like Roman Reigns, people like Finn Balor, people like CM Punk, not Rhea Ripley, surprisingly, but Nikki Cross is another one. Becky Lynch is another one. These are wrestlers that I have loved since the first time I saw them. Yes, even when Becky Lynch was doing that weird Irish dancer gimmick, don't worry about it, all right? We forgot about that. Look at her now. Nikki Cross, I still am super behind. I know they're doing absolutely nothing with her in the Wyatt Six, except sometimes she does cross bodies to some of the wrestlers. But ever since she appeared for the first time on NXT, I was a huge fan, and I've always been a huge fan. Raquel Rodriguez is another one. As soon as she arrived for the first time, I believe on NXT, I was like, there's something about her, and I followed her ever since. I've been a big fan of her ever since. And like I said, I wasn't always like that even with Rhea Ripley, who, that's insane to say now, considering how popular she is, and of course I love her now. But Raquel has always been near the top of my list of favorite wrestlers. So you give her the world title, you have her with Liv Morgan, you have Liv turn on the Judgment Day, which we've been teasing for ages. You give Liv the Rumble win as well. You have both these things happen in Saudi Arabia at the Rumble. I just think this story is perfect. Again, do I think it's going to happen? My gut right now, as of January, 14th, tells me no. But we have like 3 weeks left to the Rumble, 2.5 weeks, whatever it is. So who knows? That's my opinion. You do Liv and Raquel at WrestleMania, and you start it at the Royal Rumble. All right, so I mentioned both of these gentlemen in that last segment, and in the first segment, I'm calling them segments. In the first 2 hot takes, I mentioned Finn Balor, and the last one I mentioned CM Punk. And after this confrontation on Raw, and after what I'm sure is going to be a monster reaction next Monday, Finn is not going to win, I decided that, again, not much of a hot take, but I think Finn Balor should be a world champion in the next 12 months. I know wanting him to be world champion isn't a hot take. Everyone wants Finn to get a bigger role in WWE. But after everything with CM Punk, who is another one of my guys, for me, this is a dream match. Yes, Finn Balor just walked in and said, I'll face you. And Punk went, okay. It's all because you're going to be in Ireland next Monday. But even with that, I realize that I am sick of Finn Balor not being on my TV more often. And when he is on my TV, I mean, CM Punk did a really good job saying it. He's just backstage with the Judgment Day playing video games, or, in CM Punk's words, shining with Morgan's shoes. They can do so much with Finn Balor. He's one of the best talents in the world. And he's another one of the people that, I'll admit, wasn't my guy before he entered WWE, but right before he debuted, when he got signed or whatever happened, one of my wrestling buddies said, hey, this guy just got signed. He's calling himself Finn Balor, but you need to go check out Prince Devitt, Fergal Devitt. Go check out his stuff in Japan and so on and so forth. And I was like, okay, fine, whatever. I trust this guy. He's a big open world wrestling fan. He watches everything, especially Japan. And again, immediately, all the Prince Devitt stuff, all the Bullet Club stuff, I was like, dude, I love this guy. And then he showed up in NXT as Finn Balor. Boom, my dude. Loved him ever since day one. And I talk a lot about favorite wrestlers. I talk about CM Punk, Kenny Omega, Penta, Io Sky, about these wrestlers that are my favorite wrestlers ever. But if you, every time I'm posed the question, if you could talk to one wrestler, who would it be? I say Finn Balor before my brain even comes up with an answer. I'm a Finn Balor. And I don't even know why. I feel like his brain, his style, the way he lives, the way he works, I feel like he'd be the perfect person to have a conversation with. So, in my mind, we need to stop wasting him. And in the next 12 months, between this January and January 2027, Finn Balor should hold a world championship. I don't think it's on WWE's cards right now. Again, this is why they're hot takes. I don't think any of these things are going to happen. I think they should, though. But I think, maybe we get past WrestleMania. Maybe we even get to SummerSlam. There's all these rumors that Brock Lesnar may want to retire at SummerSlam this year. I'm not saying you retire him against Finn Balor. We'll talk about Gunther in a little bit. But maybe at that same SummerSlam, you have Finn Balor win a world title. He can't ever seem to hold a world title properly, especially when it comes to SummerSlam. Remember all the Universal title shit? But maybe this year, you have him win a world title at SummerSlam. Maybe from CM Punk. Maybe this is like WWE testing the waters. Again, they're technically going to do it in Ireland. So I don't know if it's a good litmus test. You put someone in front of their home crew in their hometown, you're going to get the desired results. But if we can keep those reactions for Finn Balor going, I think maybe WWE could do it again. So I know Finn Balor should win a world title isn't a hot take, but me thinking he should do it within the next 12 months, I think is. In the next 2 years, I would take that too, but again, this is hot takes. This is like, nobody else is trying to think like this. I think in the next 12 months, Finn Balor should win a world title. It will, if WWE were to pull the trigger, it will likely be the World Heavyweight Championship. I do not see them giving Finn Balor the Universal Mega Ultra Intergalactic Beastie Boys title. Especially not when they have like Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns all right there. But it would still be good. A world title run for Finn Balor in 2026, or at least by January of 2027. Next up, this is probably the lukewarm take of this video. This is probably not the hottest take in the world. However, I want to put it out there. I think that in 2026, WWE needs to merge the Raw and SmackDown tag team titles. The SmackDown tag team title scene was really, really good in 2025. They had some of the best matches and stories and everything going. Even if sometimes it got a little convoluted, it was still fun to watch. It has absolutely hit a brick wall with the longest tag team feud in history between the MFTs and the Wyatts, and they just never seem to go anywhere. I'm not even sure they've officially announced a tag team title match, even though, while I did like the 8-man tag, it just kind of feels like we're not going anywhere. Like we're not even going around in circles. We're just kind of bumping into a wall over and over again. And all these other tag teams aren't even doing anything anymore. Johnny Gargano beat up Nathan Frazier dressed as Axiom. I know Tommaso Ciampa is going to leave, but whatever. Anyway, there are amazing teams on Raw. There are amazing teams on SmackDown. And we're not doing anything. For 2 weeks in a row, the Usos came out and just said, we're the champs, yeet, and left. And actually on Monday, Jimmy wasn't even there. Now, Jimmy probably wasn't there for good reason. I can't imagine why. Naomi's pregnant. But still, your tag team champions are just coming out, saying a bunch of stuff, saying Jey Uso's catchphrase, and then leaving. They need to start a feud. They need to be in a bigger position. And it's because WWE has these teams and they don't know what they're doing. So, you treat them like you treat the women's tag team titles. Look at that scene. It's incredible. You have top tier stars. You have like 6 teams. They're always griping and fighting each other and brawling. And then the title matches are always so good. And now Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, both former women's world champions, are the women's tag team champions together. I think they're both former women's tag team champions separately, and now they're tag team champions together. And they're so popular. I know the problem is that WWE can't seem to focus on more than one tag team scene at a time. But if that's the case, then if you were to merge the tag team titles on the men's side, you would have a little more leeway. Because then you could do, I thought of this the other day. Imagine we got the Usos versus Fraxium. Imagine we got the Street Profits back on Raw with the Usos and the New Day and the War Raiders and I think Otis and Tozawa are trying to go tag titles. Then you got the Wyatts and the MFTs. I'm going to start running out of teams here. And eventually, you're going to reunite the Lucha Brothers. They're on separate shows right now. So if you merge the tag team titles, you could have that be a reason that Penta and Phoenix get back together. They're on separate shows, but the tag titles are one set of belts. See what I mean? And the Usos versus the Lucha Brothers. I hate this phrase. I hate this turn of phrase, but people say it all the time. It would feed families. It would be one of the best tag team matches, one of the best tag team feuds we were ever likely to see. And then you could do the Lucha Brothers against everybody, including, again, Fraxium. I know I talk about Fraxium a lot, but seriously. WWE needs to merge the men's tag team titles this year. I don't care how we get there. Maybe, here's an idea. I just thought of this right now. You could do the Usos versus the MFTs, right? That's the Samoan Dynasty all crisscross applesauce. You can do whoever wins the titles from the MFTs. I know it keeps being like JC Mateo and one of the Tongans, Talatonga or Tamatonga or Tongaloa or this Tonga or that Tonga. But it probably should be Tamatonga and Tongaloa against Jimmy and Jay. That match, I think, sells itself. I think hardcore fans like myself, little nerds, are going to be super excited to watch basically the Guerrillas of Destiny versus the Usos on WrestleMania. That's what I think they should do it. That's just an idea. That's not the hot take. The hot take is that we really, 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 really need to merge these tag team titles, because even though the SmackDown scene was good for like half or more of last year, the Raw scene has always been bleh. So why don't just merge the belts, and then you can have the champions going everywhere. And you can involve NXT as well. And do not get me started on all the good teams on NXT. Merge the men's tag team titles. And last, but certainly not least, this is supposed to be paused, my bad. This is just getting worse. Hold on. Make sure you guys can see Gunther, because I can't get a good thumbnail for this one, or background, whatever you want to call it. But last, but certainly not least, this is the big one, because I've been on the internet the last few days, been on the internet the last few weeks and months, and it seems like everybody is in agreement that Gunther should and will retire AJ Styles. That's what this is from. This is from their match on Raw, which was awesome. Love the finish. Love the match. All great. The feud's going to be awesome. I don't think he should retire AJ Styles. Don't shoot me. Okay? I've thought about this a lot. But while Gunther retiring Goldberg and John Cena was awesome, and the rumor that he wants to fight, or the rumor about Brock Lesnar retiring, everyone's like, oh, Gunther should retire Brock Lesnar. I'm fine with all of that. It's all great. I don't think it should be AJ Styles. I wish I could tell you why my brain works this way, right? Sometimes your brain, just like when you pick your guy, your gal, you see a wrestler for the first time, you're like, boom, they're my guy, my gal. Sometimes you see a story, sometimes you see a narrative, sometimes you see something happening, and your brain goes, I don't like this. Why don't I like this? I have no idea. That's kind of the first thing I thought when I saw this. But the truth is, I just think AJ Styles needs a different send-off. I'm not going to say a better send-off. And we've already put Gunther over big time with Goldberg and John Cena. Now, if WWE wants to have Gunther be the guy that retires everybody, I'm not going to argue with it. Again, their match on Raw was really good. The finish was brilliantly thought out. They have like an out, or AJ Styles has an out. They can look back at the footage and be like, you tapped out, man. What what's going on here? And I'm fine with it. I'm not against the idea, but personally, I think AJ Styles should put someone else over on his way out. If they've already agreed to have it be Gunther, like I said, it seems like the online wrestling community is okay with it. Everyone seems to think it's going to happen. Some of my favorite YouTubers are like, yeah, this is definitely going to happen, and I can't wait to see it. But me personally, I think you should put someone else over on the way out, for AJ Styles, that is. Someone like Javon Evans would be really good. I think that they would have incredible chemistry. AJ did a Houston hangover front flip leg drop to Gunther's leg. What the hell? I bet AJ's going to try to pull out the spinal tap in his last match, spiral tap, whatever it's called. Or he's at least going to try to convince management to let him do it. Because it's just AJ Styles, man. I also thought maybe Leon Slater. That one will never happen because WWE, as much as they want AJ to have the retirement he deserves, they're never going to let him retire anywhere but WWE. I think someone like Leon Slater, the current X Division champion, I think, defeating AJ Styles and sending him packing would be a good way for AJ to say, hey, this guy's the future of TNA and pro wrestling or whatever. If you were to ask me who else, Obafemi. I'm just going to be honest. I thought about this a lot before I turned this video on. If I could pick somebody to retire AJ Styles, it'd be Obafemi. Why Obafemi? Why not Obafemi? It seems, I don't want to say it seems like lazy writing, right? But it seems like WWE now feels like they might have an out after Gunther's John Cena retirement went so well. Like, because people hate Gunther, and you're supposed to hate Gunther, and the online reaction seems to be, hey, let him retire AJ Styles and everybody else. But this is just to me personally. If you're going to book Gunther as the big monster heel dude, sure, go ahead, have him retire half the roster in 2026. But I just think AJ Styles would be better served putting over someone that is more like him, if that makes any sense. That was the whole Gunther Goldberg thing. They're both big men who just like to beat the hell out of each other. And then John Cena, he had a tournament for it. And Gunther was just like, look, I retired John Cena. He hasn't even mentioned Goldberg. He needs to start mentioning Goldberg. That's my other problem with this, is that Gunther's not even talking about the fact that he retired Goldberg, as long as Goldberg doesn't wrestle again. So you can put AJ Styles with someone like Javon Evans, Leon Slater. Anybody from TNA would be good for obvious reasons. Or, like I said, Obafemi. Obafemi could retire Gunther, as far as I'm concerned. I love Obafemi. And if you want to go even further, while I'm totally okay with Gunther retiring Brock Lesnar, because again, they have similar styles, I don't think he should retire Chris Jericho either. I think when Chris Jericho is ready to be done, depending on when that is, once again, it should be someone that he looks at as like him when he was that age. Like, just like with AJ Styles. I'm sure Javon Evans reminds him of himself, even though Javon Evans, when he jumps in the air, he gets a brand new zip code every time. It's still that style of wrestling. People like AJ Styles and Chris Jericho should retire on their backs, most likely, with putting over somebody younger that is going to need the leg up. Gunther no longer needs a leg up. And again, I cannot stress enough, I'm not against the idea entirely. I just think they could do something better and be a little more creative. And if you want, again, you want to get even more hot take about this, I don't think AJ Styles should lose his retirement match. That's just my opinion. Yes, I did just say he should put over someone like Leon Slater, but if you were to ask me if the WWE booking team kicked down my door right now and threw a script at me and said, pitch AJ Styles' retirement right now, I'd have him win against somebody. I don't even know who that would be. That's just my opinion, and I think we should leave it at that. So thank you, everybody, so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and obviously, please comment down below. What do you think of all of this? 5 major hot takes for WWE in 2026. And let me know yours. Tell me what you think of mine. Yell at me in the comments. Tell me I'm a moron, except for the tag title thing. You've got to agree with that one. And then let me know some of your hot takes for the year. What do you want to see in 2026 that you just don't think WWE is going to do? And as I said, wrestling content will slow down starting with this video. This is it until Saturday night's main event, where I will do picks and predictions unless something absolutely gigantic happens in the wrestling world. So until then, and until next time, this is JT Channel. I am JT, and I will see you in the next one.